I received this question from one of my students. My parents did not provide a good example by their marriage. My husband and I have struggled as well. So, what hope can I give my young adult children as they begin to think about marriage? Well, I told my student, I don't know of too many people who actually grew up with parents who demonstrate what marriage should really look like. But I do believe that God put it in our heart for what it should look like. And it's learning to listen to your heart and the truth of who you were created to be that makes the difference. It's also about learning to screen out any experiences that tell you otherwise. You find somebody you fall in love with, it seems like it's going to be wonderful, and then things start going south. And what do you do when you feel like it's going south? You work through it together. What does a healthy relationship look like? What does healthy marriage look like? What does romance look like in a healthy situation? Well, two reasons that just quit working through it. And the first one is past experience. We rely on that too much. Something isn't perfect, and we tell ourselves, see, there it is, it's going to happen to me again. Consequently, we back away. But I think the other thing is what I'm most passionate about helping people with, and that is the idea of what exactly the opposite sex is like. Men have all learned a framework for understanding women, and women have learned a framework for understanding men. Neither of those is accurate. Both are filled with misinformation. If your dad was abusive or absent, either physically or emotionally, your understanding of men in general will be colored by that experience. In other words, you start to see your husband through that template. This must be who he is. The problem is we don't learn the truth about the opposite sex anywhere, not even in school. I know I certainly didn't. I didn't even learn it in college or graduate school. You'd think a professional school of psychology would have had at least one course about gender differences. Instead, they leveled the playing field by pretending those differences didn't exist, even though they appeared in many research projects. Go figure. I also grew up in a single parent home. When I was 12 and my brother was 16 years old, he ran away from home. So then it was just my mom and I, and her ideas were very skewed. She taught me nothing about men. I ended up getting married at 18 and had my first child when I was 21. Then I got divorced in my mid 30s. Not at all surprising. When you don't know what a healthy man looks like, you filter everything a man does through a framework of dysfunction. It's all you know. The same is true for boys who were abandoned or abused by their mothers. Depending on your situation, the first step toward adopting a healthier framework may be to process what happened with a skilled therapist, especially if you have a hard time thinking about your mate without reading your past experience into their current behavior. If you're not sure if you need that kind of help, it would be worth your time to consult with two or three therapists and get their take on where you are. Now, I recommend talking with more than one person initially because each one will likely have a different perspective. Then you get to be the one who decides how you want to address your own personal development. If you have questions or comments, feel free to post them below or contact me through my website. Remember, I'm here to help.